Chris of the R&R Athletic Sports Podcast. I just wanted to get on here today and talk to you guys. Our special guest, Brendon Enriquez
Yes,
from
sir.
Western New Mexico. Um, with that being said, we're just going to talk more about the recruiting process, NIL deals, and transfer portal. So with that being said, Brendan, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself to everybody, where you're from, where you play currently, things like that.
Yes, sir. I'm Brendon Enriquez. I'm a redshirt freshman on the football field. I'm from Morenci, Arizona. I'm currently a senior in the classroom, and I play a free safety or rover in our defense.
Okay, so can you explain to everybody, because I'm sure there's not a lot of people that understand what you mean by senior in the classroom and freshman on the football field.
Yes, sir. In high school, I tested into dual credit classes, so which means I was able to take college classes starting my sophomore year of high school. So then I went ahead and I enrolled in EAC. It's in Thatcher, Arizona. I went ahead and got my associate's degree in April, and I graduated high school in May. So I
Okay, you had
my
an associate's degree before you graduated high school.
yes, sir.
Nice, nice. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. What was high school recruiting like for you, being from a small 2A school in Morenci, Arizona?
It was a great time. It was just a good experience. A lot of it was new to me because, like, at a two-way school, like, not a lot of that stuff kind of happens. Like, no one really expects that out of a two-way school. Being in the all-star game, going on all these cool visits to different colleges, talking to the coaches, um, like getting all that recruiting mail. It's like a dream come true. Like having all these like schools sending you all this mail, like these actually want you to go there. So like that was a really cool part of the process. And then I was also getting recruited for track as well. So that on top of being recruited for football, that was awesome. But I got to say, like, the highlight of the recruiting process for me, and the reason probably why I came to Western New Mexico, not only because it was close to home, but like I went to their spring game. The energy was like just so high. It was snowing on my visit. That was pretty cool. Don't get that in a lot of places. And then just the jersey try on too. That was like a dream come true.
Yeah, a lot of kids, some kids get it easier than others, and some kids got to work for it a little bit harder than others. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm glad I was able to watch you through that process, and it's pretty neat. So, what is one thing you learned the most regarding recruiting during high school?
One one thing I learned, or like, could you repeat that, please?
What is one thing that you learned the most about recruiting during high school?
You got to be disciplined about it. It's definitely a process. Filling out all those recruiting questionnaires, and like you have to make sure you apply to the schools, like, because they won't offer you till you apply to them. And you just gotta trust the process. Like I remember you would send me all that stuff, and like if I didn't get it done, I wouldn't get the offer. So I was having to be on my phone all the time, making sure I got all that stuff done.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man. I still got kids today that I tell them all the time. I was like, "You got to do what I'm telling you to do, and you'll get offers." And then they'll message me in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and be like, "Coach, I still ain't got an offer." Well, did you fill out that recruiting questionnaire and apply to the school I told you to? No. Okay, well, that's probably why you don't got the offer.
Yeah, and then
you
I think
know?
they just got to keep like hitting up coaches on Twitter too. It's like you have to
Yeah.
keep
And
messaging them.
how many offers did you finish up with out of high school?
Maybe like what was it, like 15, 16, something like
Yeah,
that.
so somewhere around there. Yeah. D2, D3, NAIA. So you had a good amount of offers, especially from a D2 school. Um, how did working with R&R Athletics help you in recruiting?
It was it helped me a lot. I was trying to go through that process by myself. It was tough. It was tough trying to go through that myself. And as soon as R&R Athletics came along, like the process really cleared up. Like it sped things up. Like I didn't know like who to contact, like what to do. I didn't even know about the recruiting questionnaires, so I was kind of lost. But R&R Athletics helped me a lot. And then on top, not just the recruiting, but like I remember like you would help kids with visits, like trying to get them out to colleges and stuff. Just like they don't commit before like they don't even know what to expect, you know. And then of course like the commitment announcement you had where like you wanted us to do the hats and stuff. That was awesome. Like not a lot of kids get a chance to do that. And then of course like
Yeah, and I know, a lot of kids, and a lot of schools like, "Oh, you're not going D1. Why do you wanna do a hat ceremony, or why do you wanna do this or that?" But to me, there's a very few percentage of people that get to play college football, whether it's D1 or NAIA. There's a very few percentage. So why can't, if somebody wants to do a hat commitment ceremony for NAIA schools, why not? I mean, it's just fun for them, you know? Basically, it's just fun, and gives them an opportunity to do something that to have fun with their friends, and
well of course
memories.
you work hard for it. You got to celebrate that. You put in the work, you get to celebrate it. I feel like.
Yes, sir. So, I know you got a lot of friends still over in Morenci, Donovan Vosa, Tristan Sanchez, Mikey Casillas. All those boys are going to be graduating this year.
Yes, sir.
Um, my question is, what advice would you give to them when choosing the school that they're going to commit to?
Well, first things first, I'll tell them like you got to research the schools. Don't go to the school just because it's flashy or it has this and that. You have to research your school. But then you have to know what you want to study because if you don't know what you're going to study, like you're going to go to a random school, get a degree you're not even going to use, right? So I would say like know what you want to study so you could go to a school that has the best teachers and degree plan for that degree. Then from there, make sure you got your FAFSA done. Like FAFSA helps so much, gives you student aid, and then see what kind of scholarship you get from the coaches if you're going for a sport. And then make a visit. You don't want to go somewhere like before visiting there because you want to know what to expect. And then like when you go on your visits, like you're gonna have meetings with the coaches. They're gonna tell you what to expect, like what a normal day would look like. Go tour the facility, see what they have to offer. Then you go through the classrooms, see how the classrooms are. I'd say that's one of the most important things. And then be open to new stuff. Like don't like settle for something that you know you could do better. You always go for like bet on yourself. You got to bet on yourself. Like don't go to a smaller school because you don't think you're as talented or so. If you have like a
Yeah.
better offer, bet on yourself and believe that you could do what you want to do, you know?
Yeah, because I remember with your process, Western New Mexico was one of the last schools to offer.
Yeah. I had to really
Um,
push them for it.
yeah. So a lot of AZ kids go to other states to play and end up coming back home, both being homesick or adjusting to the new location. How have you been able to adjust to, I know Western New Mexico is maybe 2 hours away from home, so it's not that
Right.
different for you. Um, but how have you been able to adjust to the difference between Morenci, Arizona, and Western New Mexico and Silver City?
Just all the support I have, really. That's big. But then, I mean, if you don't have that support, just you got to go out, get out of your comfort zone, really. You have to go try new things, find a hobby, um, just have a routine set up. Keep keep your flow going right, and then just call home as much as possible. That helped me so much throughout my process. And then keep that end goal in mind. Like you're there for a reason. Got to put in that work. Just keep that goal in mind. You're there for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, because I just found out yesterday, one of the kids that I've helped through the process in the last couple of years, um, he didn't even make it 3 weeks, and he came back home, and basically everything went to, he's just working at his regular job now, and so it's kind of disappointed I found that out. And I was disappointed that he didn't call me and talk to me about it, so that I could have given him some advice and helped him through the process, because I would have did that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's hard for some kids to adjust, especially
Yeah.
when you're getting further out, like Illinois and Nebraska and
Yeah.
things like that. It gets a little bit even harder.
I remember my I went 3 days after my graduation. I came to Western, and that was one of the hardest things I had to do, being away from my family and stuff. I didn't go home much during the summer, but that was definitely a struggle I had to get used to. And it's best if you just make friends. Like you got to talk to your teammates, get close to your teammates. because really it's a family.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football has always been a family, you know. So,
Yeah.
what has it been like playing at Western New Mexico University?
It's been life changing, really. It's made me step out of my comfort zone, become more independent, not have to worry about like having others help me. Really, it's been good. Met a lot of great people, built a lot of connections. Like the coaching staff, like great coaching staff. We had a coaching staff change. We had Coach V Hill, and my position coach was Coach Mack. He was previously at Washington State before Western, and just having that those connections like that could help so much in the future because like you never know what the future holds. Maybe you're gonna get into coaching, want to transfer, those guys. So like building those connections is super important. And then traveling, like we went to Oregon this year, and like I would have never thought I would be in Oregon. That was awesome, and just like I don't memories were I can't even explain the memories. We One of the best memories was beating Midwestern, my true freshman year. We were playing them. I think it was our homecoming too. It was 24-24, I believe, going into overtime. Then we went double overtime, and plus it was like raining and sleeting on us, and we were like projected to lose by like 30 because they were the returning Lone Star Conference champions, and they had a quarterback from Arizona State who transferred in, and we ended up pulling off an upset like 31-24 in double overtime in the rain. And then this year
Oh
in the
man.
yeah, the atmosphere was crazy. Crowd was going wild. People were rushing the field. It was awesome.
Yeah, those are the memories that you never forget, you know?
Oh yeah, especially being a young guy, a true freshman, like straight from high school, like going to a college environment like that, it's electric for sure.
Yeah, life changing, man. Um, so now we're gonna get into a little bit different topic. You know, we talked about the recruiting. Now we're gonna have a couple questions regarding the transfer portal. Um, what is your honest opinion on the transfer portal?
My honest opinion, I think it's a great tool if you use it for the right reasons, though. You got to use it for the right reasons. I feel like there needs to be more rules and regulations on it. And you have to have like a valid reason to transfer that goes through a approval process. I know they already have an approval process, but I feel like it needs to be more of a strict approval process. Because like you got these guys that are transferring like interconference, like just to go to a better team. Like I feel like once you like commit and sign to a team, you're committed, and there should be like a penalty for transferring, like sitting out the year. Like that should be more like how would I say it?
Well, back before a couple years ago, there used to be the sit out rule. If you
Yeah,
transferred, you had to sit out a year, and they did away with that. Um, you know, for whatever reasons, they did away with that. And I'm not against the transfer portal. I like the transfer portal. Um, but I believe if you're going to transfer, you should be given that opportunity at the end of your freshman year.
yeah,
Um, because you know, as a freshman, you're young, you make mistakes, you might have committed to the wrong school. And I feel like you should be able given that opportunity there, and only if you have a head coaching change should you be
yeah,
allowed to enter the transfer portal. I think those are the only two ways that you should be able to enter the transfer portal. But you know, everybody has their own opinions on that, and we'll see where it goes. But they got to do something because it's getting crazy out there right now.
yeah. Do you see that Arizona and Washington where like Jed Fish was like trying to recruit like all their players to Washington, but then that booster came in and he like offered all the recruits like a bunch of money just to stay at U of A.
Yeah, yeah, I seen that. Yeah, yeah, but that's what it's coming to now. You know,
Oh yeah, for
it,
sure.
it's technically not a bad thing because it's actually helping the athlete get money. You know,
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's ruining college football at the same time.
yeah, and like you have these colleges that are like going broke and like can't afford all these players, but like say like Oregon or Bama, LSU, Florida, like they have these
Well,
insane booster clubs that just like filter in all this money and can get whoever they want.
Ohio State just spent 12 million uh, on their recruiting class this year with Caleb Downs from Alabama, the
He killed me.
quarterback from Alabama, just so they could try to get that Big Ten championship back next year. You know.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough with Michigan though.
But
Michigan lost a lot.
yeah, we lost a lot, but it's going to hurt us. But again, the transfer portal, man, it's good. It's good and bad. It just depends on which way you're looking at it.
Yeah, I feel like
So,
you gotta have your reasons. You see both sides.
and the next question, I didn't have this one on our list of questions, but have you considered the transfer portal as an athlete?
I have considered it. Like when I first got here, I was thinking like, man, is this really for me? Because I've never experienced this college football atmosphere. Like I didn't know what to expect. I got here and I was like, man, like maybe this isn't for me here. Um, but like the more I was here, more friends I got, I was like, all right, like I understand this. Like they do all this for a reason. Like if I go somewhere else, it'd be pretty similar. And my cousin's a coach at University of Florida, and I'll call him all the time. He's like, no man, like process the same thing everywhere else. Like you just gotta stick it out. It's gonna be worth it. And stuck it out. It's worth it. Um, I'm graduating this year. I've considered entering the transfer portal and being a grad transfer. Haven't really decided on that. Trying to see where this semester takes me, but yeah, I've considered it before.
Okay. One other question regarding transfers. How has Western New Mexico used the transfer portal?
We used to be big on transfer portal. Our last coach, Coach June, he's a JUCO guy. He was our defense coordinator. He went to Mount Sac. I don't know if you know where Mount Sac's at, but
Yeah, I know where that's at.
Antonio Pierce went there. Rashad White. It's one of the top tier JUCOs, but he would recruit JUCO heavy. He would recruit JUCO before high school because these coaches they want guys that are ready to play right away. They don't want to have to go and develop all these high school guys when they could just go to JUCO, get these guys who are like D1 bounce backs, can't go back to D1 because their D1 clock is already running, so they come to D2 and like they're like just great athletes. And yeah, so like a lot of coaches they try to go straight to JUCO or
Okay.
here at least.
And how do you feel about the NIL deals? And do you know any D2 athletes with NIL deals?
Um, yeah, I know D2 athletes with small NIL deals, but they're not like anything crazy. It's just like maybe like pre-workout stuff or along those lines. I think the NIL is good though. Like if anyone's naming your or using your name, image, and likeness in any way, I feel like you should be compensated for that, regardless of division. I feel like you should get paid for your name.
Okay. Have you looked at applying for some NIL deals and things of that nature?
Yes, I have. I've looked into Adidas and I've looked into workout programs like Bucked Up and Muscle Milk. I looked into
Yeah.
those. I never really pursued them.
Okay. Um. Uh. What advice in general do you give high school? What advice in general do you have for high school athletes that's currently in high school?
Um, just make the most of it. Like you never get those high school years back. Like looking back at it, there's stuff I wish I could have done. Left a lot on the table, in my opinion. So don't leave anything on the table and control what you can control. Sometimes things are out of your control. Like maybe you don't like the coach, maybe you're not getting along with them, but you can't control that stuff. Just stick with it, do your thing, and good things will happen.
Okay, then I got a couple more questions that I didn't send you,
All
just because we got a little bit extra time here. What would you say has been the hardest thing as far as as an athlete at Western New Mexico from when you was in high school? It was
right.
like so. What I mean
Compared to
is,
high school,
compared to high school to college, what is the hardest thing that you had to do? Would it be the academic? Would it be the working out? The schedule from morning to night? What would it be?
You know, like it's a mixture of stuff. Really, one thing is like in high school, you're that guy. Like you're the best you could get, and then once you come to college, everyone's just as good as you or better. Like the competition is crazy. Like in high school, I was not used to that kind of competition because in high school, like I was always working out, putting extra time in the field, but like that here is just the regular. Like everyone does that here. Like the
Yeah.
competition is so much better, and then um the schedule's tough, especially during fall camp. Fall camp schedule that almost wiped me out. Um, Start the day 6 a.m. Don't get back to your room maybe until 9:30 at night. That that's usually when you figure out if you're built for college football is fall camp. Last year we started with 115 people. I think we ended with 60. So,
Wow.
yeah, fall camp takes people out. Got a lot of conditioning, a lot of circuit
And,
stuff.
and so with the numbers going down from 100 to 60, is that just because they couldn't handle they're homesick, multiple different things, or
Yeah, yep. A lot of it's that, and then people finding out they're ineligible once they get here from their previous schools, and like when you first get here, a lot of it's like paper stuff. So like you have to go through the whole process of getting cleared by the athletic trainers. You have to make sure all your NCAA stuff is submitted. You have to make sure all your paperwork is transferred, your health records. You have to have all your shots, sickle cell. Then you have to pass all your physicals. It's a lot of stuff before you can even see the field. So sometimes that stuff even takes people out.
yeah. So walk us through what an average day is during fall camp. Like walk us through like okay, 6 a.m. you do this, 7 a.m. you do this. Walk us through a day of fall camp at Western New Mexico.
Yeah, so fall camp, I would normally wake up about 6, hit the training room because your body's beat up during fall camp. You got to recover. So I'd go to the training room, go to the cafeteria about 7. Then you have position meetings like 7:15. Then uh, unit meetings, so defensive unit, offensive unit meetings. Go over the install from the night before. Then you go to practice. Following practice, you got weights, and by that time is well, you have practice at like 8. And then get out of practice about 11:30. Go to weights. We have different lift groups, and then got mandatory team dinner, then team meeting. That first team meeting is usually a special teams meeting, and special teams coach goes in there, goes over a special teams install. Then from there, you go to a walkthrough where your defensive coach installs the defense. I was on defense, so I went to the defensive install. Then would go and do a not a walkthrough, but would go do a run through, and that's where like it's kind of similar to 7-on-7 stuff, but it's full defense and offense has a scout, defense has a scout, and you just run plays off that from the install. Then there's another team meeting that night to go over like character stuff, discipline, and team rules. And you do that every day for almost like 2-3 weeks.
Dang, yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So, what else was I gonna ask? So, okay, so you're a senior in the classroom right now. If you don't go back to Western New Mexico, what is your plans if you don't continue playing football next year at Western New Mexico?
So right now I'm currently working in the athletic training room, and then I'm also working with the strength and conditioning coach. So every morning or Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm in the weight room helping the strength and conditioning coach. I'm in there for football lifts, tennis lifts, and then I help with volleyball lifts as well. So just getting them going in the mornings. So after I graduate, if I don't transfer, I'm gonna pursue a job in strength and conditioning. I gotta take I think it's a 4-week course. It's called the CSCS certificate that I have to get. So I'm planning on getting that and possibly coaching high school football for a year until I could find a strength and conditioning job. Not sure where yet, but kind of still looking into that.
Well, that's good, man. Yeah. So, um, I'll say this: if that's the route you decide to go, I have a spot on coaching staff for you at my high school.
Appreciate it. Thank
So
you.
I'll throw that out there. I always like to take care of the guys that I've worked with. So if you need to get that experience and come back and coach with me for a year,
Yes, sir.
hey, I have a spot for you.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
and so in closing, is there anything that you want to say to anybody out there? Shout out to anybody, um, anything like that before we wrap it up?
Yeah, Lee Proninsky, he's my defense coordinator last year. I owe a lot to him. He taught me just about everything I know schematically on defense, technique, everything. Just a great guy. I'll shout out to him.
Okay. And hey, Brendon, I would just like to say thank you for jumping on with us this evening.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure working with you through the entire process. And if you need anything from me, recommendations, letters of recommendations, anything like that for future jobs, anything like that, you got my information, you got my contact information.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
always be there for you to help you with whatever you need.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.
For sure. Sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.